Hi guys, how are you doing? Hope you're doing fine. So first of all, I want to welcome you to this session of the Blueprint for Academic Excellence Summit 2021. Okay, my name is Tolulope Ahmed, and I'm the author of 10 Laws of Academic Excellence. Okay, and also the co-founder of my fund. I'm known popularly for being the best graduate student from the Faculty of Science from Obafemi Awolowo University about 11 years ago. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my success story. I'm going to be sharing with you the details of my journey, not only as someone who was the best student on campus when I was in school, but also how I have helped thousands of people or tens of thousands of people achieve academic excellence in the last 10 years. Okay, about 2 months ago we celebrated 50,000 copies of 10 Laws of Academic Excellence sold. Okay, and in the last 10 years I've been from campus to campus, from city to city, from state to state, sharing my success story, my principles of academic excellence, my personal strategy with people. And in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the details of how I have navigated this journey in the past 10 years. I'm going to make sure that I keep it as short as possible. Okay, but if you have never heard about the 10 Laws of Academic Excellence, okay, you are in for a treat. Okay, so I'm going to quickly summarize my journey, okay, from when I started up to when I started helping people. Okay, and I will share with you certain important points that I think everyone should learn. So I'm going to basically start with where I think everyone should start when it comes to academic excellence, and that is that you need to have a clear goal. So I tell people that when I got on campus, I had only one goal. Okay, that goal was to finish with the first class and nothing else. Okay, I didn't have a plan for relationships. I didn't have any plan for maybe even building business at the time. I just had one simple goal, and that was to finish with the first class and nothing else. Now, I didn't know that I was putting certain important principles to work at the time, and that was the fact that I was creating a future, okay, that I was one with, I was passionate about. Okay, I tell people that from the time I got on campus, every time I'm walking to my class, I would always say to myself, my name is Tolulope Ahmed, and I'm a first-class graduate of this institution. Okay, my name is Tolulope Ahmed, and I'm a first-class graduate of the institution. And I said that for weeks and for months until it became something that I was predominantly thinking about. Okay, it became a reality in my mind, and it started creating what is called today cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance simply means two thoughts. It means when you have two different realities on your mind. Okay, when you open your eyes, you can see that you don't yet have first class. Okay, but when you close your eyes and you dream and you see a time, I saw a time when I was celebrated as the best graduate student, from my department, or as a first class graduate. Okay, and that will lead me to the first principle where I think every student needs to begin. Okay, and that's the fact that once you have two different realities in your mind, the mind does not have a choice but to try to close the two gaps between these two realities, because the mind cannot hold two clear realities, at once, in the mind. So the mind has no choice but to give up ideas, to give up insights, to give up a flash of imagination. The best ideas, the source of genius ideas, is usually when the mind is trying to close a gap between your current reality and another reality that you have become emotional with. Okay, so for me, all the principles that I eventually put down in my book, okay, were because I was emotional with my goal, that it was so real. okay, that I was receiving insight. I started receiving insights and ideas that I would never have heard, okay, like, you would think that you should read that book. You would think you need to talk to this mentor, okay, you will begin to think, okay, I need to take these actions. Even the things that no one can teach you about your department will come into your mind, okay. They'll like, I call it like being to the future. It's like the leading of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so, and that's usually where to begin, and that is you need to have a clear goal, and that clear goal, once you become emotional with it, which I did during my time, then you realize that the insights, the concepts, the ideas, the leading of the Spirit that you will need to achieve it, the mind will have no choice but to give up those ideas so that it can close those two, that gap between those two realities, okay? So that's the first thing that I would want to set as a foundation. So how did I handle classes and readings? First, I'm going to start with classes. First of all, I saw classes as something I'd already paid for, okay? So I just felt I just had to attend my classes because I already paid for them, right? So that it would not become a waste, I make sure that I don't miss classes at all. And for reading, for those who have been a follower of Tellers of Academic Excellence, you would know that I replaced reading with answering questions. So if you're here, you're listening to me right now, and you've not heard this before, okay? From henceforth, when it comes to academics, replace the word reading with the phrase answering questions, because that's the true way to learn. That's the true way to read. Because at the end of the day, you will be asked in your exam to answer questions, and the person who has been answering questions for a while is the one who will be able to answer the different kinds of questions that may come. Experience in answering questions can only come after you have answered thousands, hundreds of questions. And I give this example a lot, and I quickly give it now as well. I went back to OAU some years ago, and I went to a particular place called Ile-Ife. And I was on my way to see a particular lecturer. Some 2, 3, 4 students ran after me, and they were asking, "Are you Tolulope Ahmed? Are you Tolulope Ahmed?" And I said, "Yes, I'm Tolulope Ahmed." And they were like, "Oh wow, we've been looking for you." So I was surprised, and they said, "Yes." They said, "There's a particular physics question that we have not been able to solve. We've taken it to this particular person, he couldn't solve it. We've taken it to this particular tutorial, they couldn't solve it. But we heard that you're a first-class graduate of physics, and we saw you, and we felt you would be the one to be able to answer this question for us." So at first, at the back of my mind, I was thinking, I hope these people are not trying to disgrace my first class, And I just thought to myself, okay, pata I will just tell them I'm coming back, okay? And so when they shared the question with me, the first thing that I noticed about the question was that the question was wrong. And so I corrected the question, and then I solved it. And one of them shouted and said, "Wow, he's a genius." And in my mind, I was thinking, there's no genius or anything. It's just that while I was on campus, I had answered thousands of questions, maybe tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of physics questions. And this particular question they were showing me did not look like the question we used to solve. So I changed it into the question we used to solve, and then I solved it. It's just experience. So the way I handle reading is that I've replaced the word reading with the phrase answering questions, and also I have replaced the word studying with the phrase doing self-tests. Okay, so these are things that you would see in details in 10 laws of academic excellence. Okay, what were the unique examination strategies that I had from the beginning of preparation from day one to the D-Day of exam? Okay, so I had one particular strategy, okay, and I will teach you in this video, and that is that from the beginning of my stay on campus, from the beginning of getting to campus, from the beginning of semester, all that I do is that I document solutions to questions. Okay, I'm not just answering the questions on sheets of paper or just knowing them in my head. No, I'm documenting those solutions inside the book. Okay, inside the book. So, and it goes this way, just questions followed by the answer, followed by the next question, followed by the next answer. And on another part of the book, I have another course in which I'm documenting, questions and answers. And they had a name for the book. They call it Solutions. In fact, they gave me a nickname while I was on campus, and the nickname was Solutions. And people just call me and say, Tolulope, where is Solutions for PHY 205? So, and because I knew that people would always come around to photocopy my notes so that they could use it to prepare for their exam, I had to make sure that I was constantly documenting these solutions to past questions, okay, such that throughout the semester I had already documented maybe hundreds of questions, okay, inside this particular note. And so by the time it's exam, I already have a review material that I can use to go through the whole course. The only thing I'll be doing during the exam period is updating those particular questions. And usually I answer those questions in the very way I would want to answer it should the question ever show up. Okay, so I'm not just answering the question haphazardly. No, I'm answering it with details, with equations, with graphs, with diagrams, just the way I would want to do it on the day of exam. Okay, so that's the strategy. And while the exam is going on, that is in the exam itself, I'm doing a wonderful presentation. I'm making sure that the whole thing is neat. I'm writing it not the way I want it, but the way in which the examiner will like it. Okay, so that when you're marking my work, you're thrilled about the kind of work that I've done there. Okay, so that's my strategy. So how did I handle unexpected results? Well, to say the truth, I didn't really experience an unexpected result because I had a first class and I was the best graduating student in the Faculty of Science. So, and I had a lot of A's and B's. Okay, so but there were a few times I had some C's. I never had a D. I don't remember having any D at all. So because in order to get a first class, to get the 4.5 CGPA out of 5, I guess you need equal number of A's and B's. Okay, that's how to get a 4.5. So, but there were times I had a C, right? But my attitude was always learn the lessons, forget the details, and do better in the next one. Okay, so I didn't have to allow it to weigh me down because it's just best that I am willing to move on. So there was a time in which I had a C in a course I taught people, and people had A's and B's, and somebody told me, are you sure they're not trying to frustrate your first class so that you don't graduate your first class? But I just thought no, so I just made up with it. Okay, so that was how I handled unexpected results. Okay, what were my academic secrets, intentional habits, and superpower? Okay, I'm going to start with academic secrets. I'm just going to try to list them. Some of them most people already know, but I will list like the top 3 secrets that I think most people are ignorant about, and people need to shift their paradigms to these 3 things. Okay, number 1, I've already mentioned it, is that you need to replace the word reading with the phrase answering questions. Okay, from henceforth. Okay, every time you hear somebody say read, it's because they are not part of the network of 10 laws of academic excellence. Okay, so you need to replace reading with answering questions. Number 2, you need to replace studying with doing self-tests. What is a self-test? You pick a question and then you time yourself, and then you try as much as possible to answer those questions within that time, and then you grade yourself. Then you may score 10 over 50, but that's fine, you see, because now you don't know about 40 things that you need to go and learn. And now because those learnings are coming from self-correction, then you know that you would never forget them, because no one truly learns without the opportunity to self-correct. Okay, no one truly learns without the opportunity to self-correct. And number 3 is that you should engage your lecturers, not avoid them. And this is one of the key secrets that most people do not know. The principle states that if your lecturer perceives that you want to do well in his course, that lecturer will engage in behaviors that will help you excel in his course. But it works the other way as well. if the lecturer feels like you are not serious, okay, it will also engage in behaviors that will make you fail. So the most important thing here is that your lecturers are part of your academic excellence, and you must always engage them, not avoid them. So those are my secrets. My intentional habits are mostly just the 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay, I mean, I read that book to pieces. You know, habit number 1, to be proactive and have a vision. Okay, number 2, beginning with the end in mind. Number 3 is to put first things first, which is time management. 4 is to think win-win, which is one of my best kept secrets, is to always ensure in every relationship both of us are winning. 5 is to seek first to understand and then be understood. Number 6 is to synergize, and number 7 is to continuously learn. So these are basically my intentional habits, and I think everyone should learn it. My superpower, I think, will be critical thinking. Okay, I like to think critically. I guess that has led me to a variety of studies and researches and ideas, okay, because I like to think very critically. And how did I blend my academics and social engagements and still do well? Okay, it's a question I get asked a lot, and the simple thing is time management, but that's kind of a complex answer. So, but basically what it means is that anything that, first of all, to cut waste, anything that it's not worth my time, I'm not going to be there. So if you invite me for a program and I'm only supposed to be there to sit down, I'm not going to show up. Okay, I would rather invest that time in something else. So I always took excuse to say, okay, if you're inviting me for a program, even if when I was an executive member of a church, okay, I would always call my superior and I would say, I can't make it to church today because I have to be at the library. Okay, and that was how I was always doing that and taking those excuses until I was made the pastor of the church myself. And now there's no place to take excuse, but what I did was that I still cut all the waste rather. Anything that has to do with routine, if it's not important, I just cut it away. Because when there's a purpose, we will have meetings. You don't just have meetings because it's another time to have meeting. It's because there's a purpose. So I had to cut all of that away, and I had to focus on only the things that are important. Okay, so that was how I was still able to balance all of that. So my final thoughts in this video is this, and I need all of you to please pay attention and listen to this very carefully. Okay, academics is good, okay, but do not be strictly academic. Okay, the student who has been active on the campus, who is such that he gets along with all kinds of people and has done an adequate job on his studies, has the most decided edge over the strictly academic student. I'll say that again. The student who has been active on the campus, who is such that he gets along with all kinds of people and has done an adequate job on his studies, has the most decided edge over the strictly academic students. What I'm trying to say here is that you need to ensure that while you're on campus, you're building a plethora of skills. My final word to you in this video is that you need to build a plethora of skills. You can be a student on campus and you can be a full-time employee in another company online using your digital skills. Okay, as a matter of fact, in our company, my fund, we have people who are still students on campus who are holding even an executive position, okay, in our organization, because they have the skills and they have the capacity. So you can already start engaging the market before you actually finish your schooling and academics, and by the time you're done, you have the experience needed to be able to take top positions. All right, so my word to you is this: make sure that you are not strictly academic. Okay, I'm the one telling you. Make sure you are not strictly academic, so that by the time you are going out there, right, you have all the skills to make you become sought after. Okay, and that's my final word to you. Digital skills primarily, selling skills and leadership skills. I'll say that again: digital skills, selling skills, and leadership skills. Those are important skills you need to develop alongside with your academics. And so with that, I'm just going to say that I wish you the best of the very best, and I'll see you at the top of the topmost top. Once again, my name is Tolulope Ahmed, and I'm passionate about reproducing my achievements in others. See you